bring you tonight's show, The Rebellious Rev and the Doc, where we talk about religion like you've never heard before. There's no evangelist here, just talk about religion with a twist. So let's get started and have some fun. Welcome our hosts for tonight, The Rebellious Rev and the Doc.
There is no heaven, there is no hell, there is only this world and its dark reflection, and we do not know in which of the two worlds we are.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to our spooky show.
This is the Rebellious Rev.
And this is your ghostly friend, the Doc.
And welcome. Our phone number is 646-595-3275.
Yes, the phone from beyond the grave.
Well, the heck was that?
I think she just looked at my face.
Oh.
Is it that bad? I don't know.
I guess so.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy Halloween. Happy Samhain. Happy All Hallows Even. Happy. What can I say? I hope you all had a successful afternoon trick-or-treating. Here in lovely New York, the weather held out. It was just a little cloudy, but the kids were out, the little kids were out, the moms were out taking the kids around.
I was out all day in my costume, too. I didn't get one piece of candy. Nobody recognized the costume.
That's because your costume looks like your everyday appearance, you know.
I was dressed up as the Rebellious Rev. I figured that everybody would be saying, Rev, how are you?
You know, when I used to teach, I used to bring in a costume for every period that I taught. I had 8 wigs, and every period I put on a different wig. The usual red nose. I remember one day standing outside the school door. That was my post when all the kids were coming in. And I had a mask from Planet of the Apes. My principal didn't know what to say to me. He took one look, he shook his head, and then he just walked right past me. You know.
What's he going to say?
Well, it's true. I mean, my students knew what to expect. I mean, I've always said I was I would say I was a big kid. But at 5'3", I wasn't that big. My students were all taller than me. So it didn't make a difference. But I used to love to dress up.
I know what the principal probably said to you.
You weren't expecting to live forever now, were you?
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, I'm going to see if you recognize this.
Wasn't that how you answered the door before the kids got married and moved out? This is Felix and his family. You know, this is one day, I would call it a holiday, but we all know it's really not a holiday, okay?
Well, you could say that about Christmas too. For a lot of people, it's not a holiday.
Well, but society treats it as a holiday. You know, Halloween, although I did see an interesting statistic, next to Christmas, people spend the most money on decorations and candy for Halloween.
Yeah.
They spend $6 billion a year annually on Halloween decorations.
And the Halloween didn't start as a religious holiday, you know.
Well, it was a religious holiday.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, it was a Druid and Celtic holiday.
Well, then, I was reading something, Mark, and they're really saying that, which I sort of was surprised, that the holiday was first started, of course, history. Let's go to history. I think they say that it was only in the 1700s or something. I gotta find it, but it was not that old.
It's before then, because when the colonists came over on Plymouth Rock, okay, I mean, the Salem witch hunts were in the 1600s.
What do they have to do with Halloween? Well, I don't know.
Witches?
Shit, what does it got to do with Halloween?
Nothing.
All Saints Day, which was where this came from, was introduced in 609. Okay?
609. That's a far cry from 1700.
Wait. In 835, it was switched to November 1 at the behest of Pope Gregory. Some suggest this was due to whatever the reasons are. I don't want to go through everything. And then, by the end of the 12th century, they had become holy days and obligations to cross Europe, but still nothing to do about about Halloween, and calling on all good Christians to remember the poor souls. That's souling, the custom of baking and sharing soul cakes for all Christian souls. That custom dates back to the 15th century. It was found in England, Belgium, and Germany, Asia, and Italy. Groups of poor people, often children, would go door to door during White, collecting soul cakes in exchange for praying for the dead.
They would call that caking. It was caking day. They would beg for cakes, and if they were given cakes, they would say prayers for the departed souls.
And that was the 15th century. That's when it started. So, I mean, there may have been some references to other stuff, but as far as the actual start of it, they're saying was somewhere in those ages.
Well, aside from caking, okay, there was also a guising day when children would obviously dress up in costumes. They would entertain, they would sing, dance, tell jokes. They would beg for food. This was all on November the 2nd, so already we have it stretching from the 31st, the 1st, to the 2nd. Each day, something different. The reason they dressed up in costumes is because on All Hallows Even, or Halloween, on the 31st, the Druids and the Celts believed that the spirits of the dead would roam the earth. And in order that those living would not be disturbed by those who were dead, they would dress up as ghosts or dead people so that they could walk the earth without fear of their lives. And what they did, the whole point of treating was that people used to leave fruits on their stoop for the dead souls, which, I don't know, I guess the one question that comes to my mind is if somebody's dead, I don't really think they need anything to eat.
How do you know for sure?
Because I've been dead and I came back.
You look like it.
I know. That's why
Okay.
that woman screamed when we first...
The American tradition of carving pumpkins is recorded back to 1837. It was originally associated with the harvest time in general. Now, Halloween was celebrated by Christians up to 1930 as souling of Halloween, which involved groups of souls, both Protestant and Catholic, going from parish to parish, begging the rich for soul cakes in exchange of praying the souls.
Well, that's what I said. Souling and caking and
This
guising.
is being done to the 1830s, 1930s, and there's really nothing mentioned too much about the Gaelics on this, any of this.
Well, because it started out as a Celtic, Gaelic, Druid holiday, you know, and then it was accepted over the years and changed.
Okay, I was just trying to find that. I'm not doubting you. I'm just looking at this stuff and trying to figure it out, because what do I know? I know very little.
You know, the word witch comes from Wicca, and it actually means wise one. But for some reason, when we think of a witch, we think of that former senatorial candidate from New Hampshire. What was her name? You know, I'm not a witch. How quickly we forget. It was only a few years ago. My goodness. I forgot her name. Well, shows you the impact that she had. But anyway...
Anyway, I've read all I was going to read about facts about Halloween. What's more important is what we do now, which is have fun at Halloween. It really has, as far as from what I can see, it lost all its spiritual values as a holiday. Tomorrow's All Saints' Day, that's different, but I'm talking about tonight. But it's just a fun time, a good time.
Well, it's a time for grown-ups to have a special party where everybody's in costume. Kids go around with their parents trick-or-treating. I remember as a kid, you know, we always lived in an apartment building in the projects, and in our building alone, which only had 6 floors and 5 people living on a floor. So we had about tops 30 families, maybe, a little bit less. We used to get bags of candy, so much candy.
You know, this year I didn't give out any candy at all.
And this year we gave out more candy than we had given out in the last 4 years. It seems like families now only go to selected homes. You know, when the lights are off, as many people like to keep the lights off and hide, people usually pass by those houses. But houses that are decorated and lit up, you know, those are the houses that people stop at.
Anyway, see if you remember this one. Let's see how quickly you can identify it.